Okay, I'm just waiting for this to get started here. Probably help if I selected my webcam. There we go. Okay. Thank you for joining me today on this live stream. I'm making some last minute New Year's cards using my Heidi Swap MINC machine, which I have right here. I have the MINC Mini. It's the smaller version, and I decided to go with the Mini because I'm primarily a card maker, so it's perfect for me. And just so you know, in case you don't have one of these wonderful machines yet and you're looking for one, I have the Anna Griffin machines that were selling on HSN earlier this year. It's like a big old bundle. They were originally like $155, I believe, and I have them for $80, and it's the whole bundle, and it's also free shipping. I'm down to, I think, 4 of them now. So if you're interested in that, let me know and I can provide a link for it. I'm hoping that my camera is not too close. Let me see if I can just kind of pull back a little bit here. It's kind of wobbly now. Let's see. Sorry about this. Let's see if I can get it fixed. Oops, made it worse. Thought I had a good angle there, but I'm normally trying to go for a little more close-up than I am right now. Okay, so just so you know what I did so far before I started the video, I use a program called Inkscape, and I love it because it is free and you can design whatever you want in there. And I use it to, hold on just one second, I'm sorry. I want to make sure I don't have a, what's it called? Last time I did a live stream, I actually ended up having a really bad echo. So if you hear an echo, please let me know and I'll make sure to fix that. But I'm pretty sure I don't have it this time. So anyways, I use Inkscape. It's a free program and it lets you design in it using pretty much, it's like a, I guess, a light version of Adobe because you can't do as much in it. So anyways, I found this Happy New Year graphic online, and all I did was copy it and then I put it on this sheet of paper 6 times. And I realized that might not be the best idea, so I did another one where I only did it 4 times because I want to make 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cards. And so on this one, this is actually a textured, kind of heavier cardstock, and I'm not really sure how the MINC machine is going to handle that. So we'll see what happens with this. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my screen set up here because the one that YouTube has you use has like a major lag, but I want to make sure I have it pulled up because there's a chat in case anyone wants to talk. So I'm just going to move that because the other one shows me what I'm actually doing in real time. Alright, so again, I use the program Inkscape. All I did was go on Google and I googled Happy New Year, found this one that I really like, and then set it up on my piece of paper how I wanted it. My idea is to have this in the background, and then I wanted like champagne looking bubbles, so I did those on a piece of transparency paper, and these are all printed on a laser printer. You have to use something that has toner in order for the foil for your MINC machine to adhere to it, because the toner gets reheated when it goes through the machine, and that's what allows it to get adhered. So you're basically using your toner as a glue. So what I want to do is put this on top of the paper, and then we'll have this cool glossy look, and I'll do one in gold and one in silver. And this did not take me very long. The bubbles, I actually did design a little bit. I found some, so I googled champagne bubbles, and then I found something that was kind of like just this little area here, and then you can use Inkscape to trace something and then kind of manipulate it how you want. So I traced that, and then I flipped it around, and then I deleted these two so that I could create a corner, and then I just put those corners here. So when you're designing that way, you're going to want to make a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch box, or however big your card is going to be, to make sure that it's going to line up on your card properly. So I wish there was a way I would know if this is echoing. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can pull it up on my phone. Actually, I'm going to see if someone can check for me. Anyways, so that's my idea. Quick and easy, because this took no time at all. This took me only a couple minutes. It was really just figuring out how I wanted it to be on the paper and then printing it out. And now, normally on my MINC machine, I do a setting of 4. So I'm going to push this. Oh, first I have to turn it on. So the power button is on the back here. Push the power button, and then I can cycle through to the 4. And I'm using the foils that were included with my machine. And actually, this is a pretty thick cardstock, so let's start on a 5. I also printed it out on regular printer paper in case I want to do this as the background and then have these on the transparency, because I think it would look cool both ways. Alright, so I'm going to start off by doing this textured cardstock and see how that goes. Originally I was trying to get as many as I possibly could on a piece of paper, and then I realized, well, I'm going to have to cut it out really small, and I can work with that. I can put some colored cardstock behind it, so that's not really a big deal. And actually that would probably be better to... Wow, my MINC machine is smoking. I don't know what's going on there. So I'm going to start off on a 4 because I know that this particular paper, this cardstock right here, it's just the, I think it's Georgia Pacific. It's just the cheap brand from Walmart. I know that that one runs through good on a 4 from my first time using the machine. And so I'll just start off with that. And the light just turned green, so I know that it is hot and ready to go. I am going to have to cut this down because I have a MINC Mini. This is a regular 8 1/2 by 11 piece paper, and that would not fit through in that slot right there. So I will need to cut this down really quick. And I'll just try to cut it the best I can to make sure these are kind of even. So I'm just going to do 4 1/4 and see. Actually, I can't. Well, maybe I can. I'll do 4 1/4. Actually, I'm just going to go in the middle of these, which happens to be right about here. I know you can't really see what I'm doing that well because, like I said, I normally have it zoomed in quite a bit more. So I just cut those in half, and then since I just want to see, you know, how this is going to go, I'm just going to cut this basically into a square. And then we can run the first one through. And I'm going to do this on... I also have pink, but I just feel like silver and gold together would go great for New Year's. I think it would look awesome. So I need to grab my carrier sheet. Actually, I already have a piece of pink out, so I might as well use that. So there's some pink in my transfer folder from the last project I did, so I'm just going to use that. And I did have it taped down on there. Actually, that wasn't on purpose. I was going to say, I don't remember taping that down. So this pink one actually has some scratches in there. You can kind of see it's see-through. That's because this is the very top of it, and when I was trying to pull that piece of tape off the foil, I ended up scratching it. So that was kind of one of my gripes about the way they package these. There's this little round clear piece of adhesive, and it kind of messes up your foil. So this will probably end up having some scratches in it, but that's simply because of the particular piece of foil that I'm using. So I really don't want that scratch to be on anything major, so I'm trying to look through there and see if it's going to really affect that particular area. So you'll just put it down in the carrier sheet, close it, try to make sure there's not any like too many bubbles or ripples or anything. My carrier sheet is really dusty because my house gets dusty, so it's just a little crazy. Alright, so now I'm going to feed this through, and it's just going to grab it. And you want to make sure that it's feeding it through straight, because if you have any problems, there is a release button on the back that you can push. And just be patient and wait for it to feed it through. And it takes a second. So what I was talking about is this little button on the back right here. If it catches it and it starts going off to one direction, you have the chance of it jamming. So that's actually a reverse button, and you can push that to avoid any problems. Unfortunately, there's not a release button, so I can't tell it to just, you know, let it go, even though it's past the point that I need done. So I just have to be patient. You can actually cut down your carrier sheet if you want to, and then you won't have to wait. So I'm just holding it and making sure that it's not going to get stuck, because my laptop is right over here. So I'm not pulling it or anything. Alright, so I got that through, and we will open up the carrier sheet and see how it looks. And let's see how it did. Yeah, that looks great. See, I like this cardstock because I know what setting it needs to be on. So that came out looking gorgeous. I'm hoping that shimmer is coming through on the camera. It's so pretty. Okay, and if I wanted to, I could have done probably all three of these. Yeah, I could have done 3 of them at one time. So that would cut down on your time even more. And I always love like the leftovers. I want to figure out a way to use those because I have it for this happy birthday one also. So I have that part done, and now I want to try and do it on this textured cardstock, because that's always been a question of mine. How well does it really work on a thick texture? This has like a not a linen texture, but you can kind of see it's like pitted. So I'm gonna cut this down. These are supposed to be able to cut perfectly at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 because of the way that I put it together. So I'm just gonna go to 5 1/2 here and cut. And I don't have a fancy printer or anything. It's just the one from work. It's a $90 Brother laser printer. So I literally just use it to print up invoices, and it works that great, you know, just doing this foiling on a work laser printer. So it's pretty awesome. So that cut down perfectly, and now we can try and see. I'm going to put it to 5 just to be safe, since this is a thicker paper. But this machine gets super hot, so I think it'll be okay. It might even work fine at the 4 setting. But this will be great, because then this can be my actual entire card base, and then I can put one of the pretty transparency designs on top of that. So I'm going to grab the carrier sheet here and put that in. I could do it this way if I want. And for this one, I'm going to do the gold. So this is what I was talking about earlier. There's this little piece of tape right here, and I got scratch marks on it when I was trying to like scratch at it and get it off last time. And then I found out the easier way is to actually just get some scissors and kind of get under it and then you kind of don't risk. Maybe that's not what I did. I thought I got scissors. Nope. Okay, let's try an X-Acto blade. Sorry, bear with me here real quick. I'm just trying to get this open. I lost my X-Acto. Where are you, X-Acto? If you have any questions, definitely let me know in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them for you. This is only my second time using this machine, and I told myself I'm not going to buy this machine unless I'm actually going to use it. So I've been trying to purposely think of things that I need to do with my MINC machine, and I thought, what better idea than using it for some quick and easy last minute New Year's cards. And I'm actually going to be mailing these, so they're going to be late no matter what, but I think people will still appreciate getting a New Year's card in the new year. I don't think it really matters if it's on or before the new year. Alright, so I completely lost my X-Acto. I don't know where that went. So I'm just going to continue trying to do this with scissors. There we go. I think one way or another I'm probably going to have some scratches. Yeah, because it's not, now I just have that whole spot messed up. Okay, so, oops, I need to keep those out. Alright, so when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have the entire image covered. It looks like I might be able to get away with, let's see what happens if I just, I guess it's okay that the tape is on that side because that's actually the part that gets thrown away anyways. And then just put that on top of here, and we will run it through the machine. And I'm doing this on a 5 because it is some pretty heavy cardstock. And it feels like that one's kind of going in sideways, so I'm going to keep a really close eye on it down here on this side. But there is a little bit of wiggle room in there in case you happen to put it more on one side than the other. You can see it's coming out the back end. When this machine is on, it makes these little kind of crackling noises. And that noise, I don't think I've heard that one before. Maybe that's just because I have it on a 5 setting. I'm not sure why. Woo, it's really hot coming out the other end. Anyways, so it does make these like crackling, kind of creaking. Yeah, these are new noises. But those creaking, crackling noises are, I hear those every single time I use it. So that's nothing new to me. So I'll be really, really happy if this comes out good on a thick piece of textured cardstock because I would love to be able to use those with foiled elements because that just, I think it makes it look so much more classy and pretty. So it's almost done. There we go. Okay, so let's see how well this worked. It's very hot. Oh yeah, awesome! It worked perfect! That is awesome. I wish I could tell you how, it's only stuck right there because that's where the tape was. Don't mess up my cardstock. So you can see there's little parts kind of in here on the foil where it didn't look like it transferred, but when you look at the piece, it looks completely, okay, I can see them now. There's actually some little parts in there that are black, but it's so hard to notice. It almost looks sparkly because of the black spots, because you just don't really notice it. There's one right there that I definitely notice. But yeah, I would say that came out pretty cool. I'm definitely going to use it. It's absolutely workable. Alright, so now I need to get my silver. Save all these scraps because you never know when you're going to have like a little small piece. Actually, I'm going to use this right now because there's some little pieces that came with this set that you can just put with those little scraps. So we have our card base, and then now I'm going to do the transparency, which is the little champagne bubbles, and I'm going to do those in silver. So I just need to cut this down, and since I formatted it perfectly on there, it's going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So just need to cut it down here. And I do have the file for this. It's not on me because it's at my work computer, but if you want to make this exact same card and you have a MINC machine, I can absolutely send it to you tomorrow. So that will still work great if you have like a party that you're going to go to and you can hand them to people. So, okay, I got that, and then now I need to do 4 1/4 here. Standard A2 size card, that's generally what I tend to work in. And this is actually going to cut one of the little bubbles, so I need to move over just a tiny hair, so it's not going to meet exactly. So actually, yeah, the way it printed it out, you can kind of see here. Probably should have measured that again, but I'm going to use this one. It was a little off because of the way that my printer did it. That's one of the curious things about Inkscape is I will tell it exactly where I want it to be, and it doesn't really listen to me. So I had to print it off a bunch of times. Alright, so now we're going to try on a transparency, and I'm just going to go ahead and stay on a 5 because these are transparencies that are meant to be printed on with toner. So they are heat resistant because a toner printer works by transferring toner with heat. So I know that they're not going to shrivel up and melt in my MINC machine. It's going to be okay. I just need to run my fingers over this and I can feel which side actually has the toner on it. So it's actually this side that has the toner on it. So that's the side that I'm going to put my foil down on. So now I just got to get my silver foil. It came with my MINC machine. And just kind of measure this out here. You don't want to be too stingy because then you might mess up your project. So make sure it just runs over the edge a little bit here. I'm just going to flip it over so I can see what I'm doing. And then I can cut it down. Alright, perfect. And then I can just throw that in my transfer folder this way with the foil facing up. I really don't know if it matters, but I'm pretty sure the tutorials that I've seen, the foil is facing up. So just do that to be safe. And my transfer folder is getting these creases in them. I'm hoping that's not going to cause me any problems down the road. Only time will tell. And then time to just feed that through my machine. Again, we're at a setting 5, so hopefully this is not overkill and it doesn't warp my, my transparency. So we'll see what happens. And there's those fun little noises that the machine likes to make. And again, this could be even quicker and even easier because I could feed up to 3 cards at once is what I could fit in this transfer folder. So I could just start feeding them and then move on to something else and wait for it to come out. But since I'm just doing this single card on this video, I'm just having to be a little patient here. Alright, so that one is ready, and let's see how that worked. Hopefully it came out awesome. Ready for the big reveal. Oh my gosh, it worked perfect! Oh my gosh. Oh, it got a little messed up where that crease is. Darn. Okay, so like I was talking about, my transfer folder developed this crease. And that definitely just messed me up because that came out perfect except for where the crease was. Darn it. That would have been awesome. Let me just try to run it through because look at how perfect those are. They came out perfect. But that little crease messed me up right there. And it also put some shimmer down where it does not belong. So, and you know what I could do? I could just actually cut down like a tiny little piece real quick. Cut that off and put it here. Oops. Just make sure it covers those and then not put it where that crease is. Now I'll have to wait for this to go through again, but that's okay. So I didn't do anything abusive to my transfer folder. It's just from going through the machine, it developed that crease. And I still have a ton of foil here, so I can definitely use this. I can cut these off and then use it on another one of these pieces, which I'm just going to do right now. I really wish this machine had a release button. That would be awesome. Maybe they'll make a version 2 that has it. Oops, I better help that up. And it looks like running it through a second time actually kind of messes with the ones that came out perfect. So that is a little unfortunate because it looks like they got a little just maybe overheated. I'll show you that in a second here. Okay, whoops. Alright, so, whoo, that is so hot. Like, you can burn yourself for sure. So the ones that came out perfect before now have this kind of weird effect going on. And that did not quite fix the problem there because it's still, like, imprinted. It's a little weird. Okay. Besides that little bit of a problem, it looks really cool. And it worked. So besides my transfer folder being weird on me, it worked. And then I can just pull this. I'm going to put that back down to a 4 because it's just super, super hot. So this was basically my idea, was to have a card that was all foiled up. And you have this front top piece that just fits perfectly on here. And that's your, not only is it foily, but it's glossy and just very glamorous and pretty. So really all I would have to do now is stab this with a piercing tool, put a little brad in there, and then I can pop it up on a card base. So this card is pretty much done. I'll just go ahead and finish that off and we'll see what it looks like. I would like to find, well actually I can just use white because that covers the, oops, dropping paper. Oh, you know what else would be fun? Let's just do something else real quick. So this machine came with all these little tiny elements right here, and I never use them. So maybe I could, actually I don't want to. But anyways, anytime you get those tiny little scraps, just hold on to it because you could have these small little elements that you might want to add to it. So I'm just going to finish this one off because the whole idea was of this was that it was quick and easy and simple, and it really is once you just have that design, which I've already designed if you want it. The file is at work, so I can just grab that for you. And now I need to make sure I cut this the right way because this is going to fold that way. Oh, come on, work with me here. I think I need a new blade on my cutting mat. Just pop out my I'm sorry, that probably sounded absolutely horrible. I hit my microphone with the Martha Stewart scoreboard. So just going to pop that out so I can make a little crease in this at 4 1/4, and I can finish off my card. So there's my card base, and now I can do a little hole so I can stick my brad in here in my lovely shimmery, glimmery, foiled up card that really didn't take that long to make. I know I've been streaming for about 29 minutes now, but I also, you know, tested it out on this piece of paper here with the pink, and then we got to do it on a transparency and some thick cardstock that has some texture to it, so that came out pretty well. So again, just gonna put a little hole in here. Let me find a little piercing tool. All of my stuff kind of got moved around. So the easiest way to do this is going to be to just line these up, and then I can pierce it in the middle. I don't know where the thing that I normally used to pierce with went, but I can kind of make an indication and then further it. So let's see. Are these 1/2 inches? I think so. So that's 1, 2 1/2. So it would be like right here. That looks about in the middle. I think I measured that correct. I hope so. And then I can just poke through. And I'm just going to have one single brad holding this together. I've seen them like that in the store, so I don't see why it wouldn't work. I'm going to find a silver brad. There we go. I got one. It's kind of on the smaller side, but not super small. And just pop that little guy in there. Come on. There we go. And then I can finish this to make sure it's held on there, and you still get that cool effect of it being 2 separate pieces. So just a single brad hanging everything together. People like to be like, oh, that's really cool. I don't know. I've always thought the cards that have like the overlay on them look really awesome. And I'm actually pretty happy with how this one came out. So all I have to do is tape it on my card base and I am done. But I'm going to make another one because I have that pink piece of paper. So I might as well. And I have my brad on the back there. It's going to be hidden. Just kind of line this up here. Actually, I'll do it from the bottom. It's easier that way, I feel. That is a noisy, noisy machine. And there we go, and I can just press it on. So there's a few spots I can see some black coming through on that transparency, but there's not really much else I could do. It did pretty well. There's probably not a whole lot of toner on it either because it is a transparency, but it got those super skinny lines. Try to get it to focus there. You see those really skinny lines? It got that, and I got every single detail on there except for kind of where it dipped down a lot. So that's the completed card. Didn't take very long, and I think it has a major wow factor. I'm trying to show you the foil without it like giving you a major glare. It's kind of impossible. So anyways, there's that one. Let's make another one. I'm going to use that smaller piece that I had with the pink, and I'll layer it with another piece of, maybe I have some pink sparkle, I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. So with the pink, I definitely want to do silver for the champagne bubbles. And I have my other card front here, and I'm actually going to cut that just a little bit more since it's off center here. and then I will foil it. So this one just needs to be cut a little more so it matches up. So this card in the end is going to be ever so slightly smaller than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. But we will try foiling the transparency again, but this time on a 4 setting, because I think that might work just fine. It got super, super hot, and I'm going to try to avoid this crease that I have in my transfer folder. So I'm just going to lay it down this way, and then get my silver foil and cut off the necessary amount. Oh, I also need to feel and make sure I have this on the right side, because actually I didn't. The toner is on that side. So I'm going to make sure I have it on the right side, or I'm not going to get anything. I'm just going to wait forever for the machine to work and then have nothing. So let's see. Actually, the easier way to do this is to put that on here and then cut it down. Well, that is definitely a jaggedy cut if I ever saw one. Okay, and then I know that it is covered perfectly, and then I can pop it back in here, avoiding my crease in my transfer folder, and just press that down. Awesome. Now let's see if the 4 setting will work on the transparency. And then just wait for that to run through. So while that's running through, I'm actually just going to trim this down a little bit more to be kind of in the center of this piece right here. So I'm just going to do that off camera while that's running through. So just a little bit longer there on the machine, and then we'll be able to move on. And I got that a little more centered there. You can see this one has the pink on it. And I gotta help this one up or it's gonna get stuck where my laptop is. I'm going to round off the corners on this just because I think it would be kind of, actually, you know what, I'm going to leave it alone because I'm going to just layer some kind of pink something on it. Actually, you know what would be really fun? I know what I'm going to do. More foil. Okay, let's see what happened here. Yeah, that worked out pretty nicely as well. So you don't have to go crazy and use a 5 setting on a transparency. You can use a 4. Awesome. So I'm going to put that piece of foil aside real quick here. And then I thought it would be kind of cool to, so I'm going to have this and then I have this over it, but I need something to, you know, fill in the extra space there. So you know what, never mind. I was going to add like one of those decorated foil pieces that they give you with the machine. Because I actually have one that I kind of messed up. I was trying to do, I had this happy birthday JoJo thing. But if I do that, it's not going to work because, yeah, that would just look horrible. So we're not going to do that. I'm going to, this one would probably work pretty well because it's just some lines. But I think that might be overdoing it on the foil, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to raid my stash really quick, so just be patient with me here because I need to find the perfect piece of paper. I'm going to turn that off because I don't think I'm going to be doing any more foiling. And I'm going to go raid my stash. Again, this is the card we just made, so I'm just going to leave that there for you to enjoy while I find something to make this one. So luckily my paper is just right over here. So if you have any questions, definitely ask me and I'll be happy to help you. I'm just going to try to find a piece of pink paper. Ah, here we go. I think, well, okay. So here's my thought. Let me know what you think. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about doing this pink. No, I think that would look bad. Never mind. Let me find something else. Let's find some pink paper. All of my storage is collapsing on my 8.5 by 11 paper. Ooh, what if we do black? That would be nice and glamorous, right? Definitely. White and black and foil. This is a piece of, I think it's Coordinations cardstock, because it's just like this thin, and it kind of has like this ever so slight linen texture on here. It's kind of hard to see. So this one's, I mean, this one's glammed up and everything because of the foil, but it's still kind of plain. So this one's going to be a little more, I don't know, this has a little bit of extra on it because it's going to go like that. You know what? I should round the corners of at least these two sides. I think that would look better. So let me grab my corner chomper. If you haven't seen one of these before, it's a We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, and it's a there's a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch on there, so most of the time I end up using the 1/2 inch. And just going to round these corners where the bubbles are, and we'll see. Sometimes you gotta kind of double do it. Oh, that's the wrong side. No, that's the right side. What am I talking about? Oh, I guess I got it just enough. Okay. So I'm going to put this on here, and then this will go on top of it. Yeah, that'll be nice. I think. Still debating. I'm going to end up having to move this a little bit. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with that. So let me trim. Actually, I'll just make this. No, this is too thin to be my card base. So I'm going to trim it down to standard A2 size, 5.5 and 4 1/4. There we go. And then all I have to do is grab another brad and some tape. So I'll be right back again. Alright, I'm going to do a silver brad for this one. And so first of all, I'm going to tape this down right in the middle of this. Try to fix my camera down a little bit here. It's a little better. Okay, so tape, got the ATG gun here, and taping it. There we go. And we will pop it as much in the middle as we can eyeball. Try to make it even here. Too bad my head isn't even. I feel like when I put things straight, it just doesn't work. Oh, that looks good. Okay. Is that in the middle? I guess so. We'll go with it. And then now I can stack this. Oh, that's funny how it's still black. Well, that makes sense. Anyways, and now I can stack this on here. Oh, and I forgot it's going to be a little bit smaller, but that's okay. It's going to be a little bit smaller than the black. I'm just trying to see how I should do this. I think that is about, it's not quite even. I'm just going to trim about a about 1/4 of an inch and then 1/8 of an inch, just to, because I kind of want the clear part to cover the entire thing. So that's one of the cool things about this trimmer, is it has measurements over to the left as well, so I can know where 1/4 of an inch is. But I want it to be even on both sides. So where would, this is the fun part. Figuring this out. Okay. Just do a tiny little strip here on each side, and then hopefully I didn't royally mess it up. We will find out. Right. And then I'm just going to leave, well, I should probably do a tiny strip from each side also. Tiny strip. And a tiny strip. There we go. Hopefully this will line up a little better with the piece of acetate now. Yes, the piece of acetate is actually slightly larger than the card front, which I'm okay with. I keep getting this like dirty, and it's like really static clingy. So I'm trying to not get a million fingerprints on it and have all these weird little things stuck to it. Okay. So I am okay with the fact that it's hanging over a little bit, because if I keep going down this road, it's just gonna progress. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna get my piercing tool. Where did I put it? There it is. Okay. And then I can just line this up here again, like I did on the last card, except for this one's a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to eyeball it, really. The other one was approximately this point of the word. Oh my gosh, one of my dogs is, what's it called? Snoring. It's so noisy. That's funny. Okay, so anyways, now I'm going to pop this in here, making sure that, oops, I just totally bent that. Anyways, when you pop these in, you want to make sure that it's not like, when you open the prongs, they're going to be like that and sticking up, so put it in going the right direction. There we go. So now I can bend them down horizontally. And that card is pretty much done. I got the nice pink foiling there, and then the transparency with the glossy aspect going on. I probably want to like wipe this down, honestly, because I got a lot of fingerprints everywhere. But I'm really happy with how this one came out as well. There's some major glare going on. Sorry. This one's pretty cool, and then this one is also really cool. This one's definitely heavier than the last one I did because of that black piece of cardstock. So all I have to do with this one is pop it onto a white piece of paper. I'm not going to bother getting out my scoreboard this time. I'm just going to fold it over and push it down. I actually got a phone folder here. Can just make sure it has a nice crease in it. Kind of butchered that when I was cutting it a little bit. Yeah, that will be on the back side. Whoops. So now this one I can pop it up if I want to. There's going to be a small white border around it, which is totally fine because this is the white cardstock, so that will actually make it look just fine having that border. And it actually just adds another dimension to it. And I could even pop this up on foam, which I'm kind of considering. Actually, let's go for it. We'll just pop it up on foam. Here we go. And I can cover the brad with the foam, no problem. And here we go. So I just made 2 cards in 48 minutes. And that was pretty easy, and I think they look pretty awesome. It normally takes me about an hour and a half to 2 hours to make a card that I'm actually happy with. So being that it took 48 minutes to make 2 that I'm happy with, I would say that's definitely a win. Pretty happy with that. So I just want to make sure that has a ton of foam because it's going to go through the mail and I don't want it to get droopy or anything. Have some weird droopy spots. Alright, just push it down really good. And it probably would have taken even less time if because I could have ran up to 3 of them through the MINC machine at once. So actually I could have made many cards in a much less amount of time. It wouldn't take, you know, 15 minutes for every 2 cards you make. It would actually be a lot less than that because you're not waiting for the MINC machine as long. So here this one is. Just put it down here and I am done. Trying to make sure it's even. I hope so. I'm just going to use my, oops, kind of push it down. I don't want to rub it just because there is the foil on there and I'm not. I know it won't rub off that easy, but it could rub off with a little bit of force, I'm sure. So that one's done. I just got to chop off this excess weird stuff I have going on back here from trying to cut it down. So that's all there is to it. I have 2 New Year's cards done last minute, and that took about 48 minutes. It would take less time per card if I ran all of them through the MINC machine at once, because I could have done 3 and 3 through the MINC machine. In the same time it took me to do 1 and 1, just because I didn't load up my transfer sheet as much as I could have. So I'm really happy with how these came out. I hope you had fun watching me make these, and I plan on doing more live streams in the future. I'll definitely provide links below to these supplies. I do sell deco foil in every single color that's offered, so that will work with your MINC machine, and I sell the machine itself as well. So I hope you guys have a great night, and I also hope that you have a great New Year's. Thanks for watching again. Bye, guys!